Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
We're going to get started. I'm Earla Clark. I am your instructor for today. We're going to talk about your listings and how to service them. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I joined real estate in 2009 after losing my corporate job for 35 years in corporate America. So I spent a lot of time babysitting bad adults in human resources and store operations in retail organizations. So I started in 2009. My entire career has been at Keller Williams Realty, and I chose KW because of their training and their profit share. And all the agents I had used at Keller Williams were top-notch individuals, and I wanted to be in a company like that. So in 2009, the market was down, and everyone said, "You'll never make it," but I did. And it was because of this training that you all are attending. It was called something different at that time. I formed a team in my first year in September. I started in March and I formed a team in September. I now have a team of 5, soon to be 6. We did about $1.5 million our first year. We're targeted this year for about $25 million. So you can leave a full-time job, as we were discussing, and come into real estate and follow these models and make a successful career. So before we get into the material, I'd really like to hear a little bit about each of you.
New realtor, one last thing.
Jeff?
Yes, Jeff, I'm sorry. We introduce ourselves to each other every other day.
Okay, so Jeff, what was your background?
Journalism.
Okay, and what brought you to real estate?
Similar to you. My company went out of business. I left journalism, went to work for a company, and went out of business. And all my friends are realtors, so now is the time.
Okay, I got you. Yes.
I'm Ryan,
Hi, Ryan.
and right now I'm working full-time with Cars.com, doing digital media sales. So you deal with car dealers all day, every day. And then Emily Rollerson was I just sold my house with her. And we're building down in Steeplegate that you have your name plastered everywhere.
Yeah?
With R.S. Parker, and I really love him.
And moving on.
Yeah, so, we were just kind of discussing, we were looking at houses, and, I came up and met Michelle, and a lot of my family's in real estate. My dad did all the buying for Howard University. So
it's a natural fit.
I guess so. Hopefully. We'll see.
Good. Hello.
Hello. I started my own little hair extension line.
Well, what is your name?
Julia. I'm sorry. I'm used to telling my name every day. I started my own little hair extension line over maybe a year and a half ago, and I started it all by myself, and I learned the business myself, and I just loved the business aspect. And I was in the healthcare field, and I just started realizing that it wasn't my passion. I didn't want to do that, for a lifetime. So my dad, he said, try real estate. It's sales, it's business. And I started doing the classes and stuff, and I loved it. And I'm just ready to learn and get into the business.
I think I received an email from you this morning as well.
Yes.
Let me hold your open house. I think I got from you. Yeah. Good. Sam?
So I'm Sam Hopkins. I started real estate, looking into real estate as for an investment, to understand it more from doing my own personal investing. And in the course of doing that, I really like it. So the next step seemed to be becoming a realtor.
So you're going to do it for more than investing? Or
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, have you all attended all of the classes in order, or are you skipping around?
In order.
I'm kind of jumping around. I missed it prior to this week.
Okay.
In order.
You're in order? You're in order. So, and you can jump in and out of them. I think it does help you, though, if you're in order. So we're going to start today, and I think you all have a manual. We're going to talk about selling and servicing your listings. On my team, I am the rainmaker, so my job is getting listings and servicing those listings, which is why I chose to teach this class. It helps me get better at it, too, with your ideas. So today's expectations is to review the elements of a 14-point marketing plan, and we're going to look at where that is and where you can find that. If you don't know, this material is already prepared for you in eEdge. We're going to devote the majority of our time on the activities. We're going to do some role modeling. We're going to do our calls, I'm going to do calls with you, and we're going to look at a wow experience. So you will need your notepads and papers. I'm going to ask you to review some things and share with the class. And so, does that sound good to you guys? And then I'm going to give you some of my little pointers, and I brought some pass outs for you of things that I utilize that I share with the classes that have been successful for us. So the first thing I want to do, well, first of all, let's talk about your homework, your 10-4, what you've done. Brian, tell me, how's yours going?
Struggling. I'm kind of drowning right now. Just my job right now is really demanding. I have one set of clients that have been pretty demanding, trying to buy a house. So I'm trying to, the weekend, I'm going to try to play catch up. So.
Okay. So you're working full-time and doing this part-time
Yeah,
and struggling getting your calls made and previews. Okay. Anyone else experiencing that? Sam, I've had already shared that with me. Jeff, how about you?
It's good. I mean, I'm not able to call every day because I have so many other things going on. But there was one day that I tried to play catch up, and I sat down and called 30 people, sent out 20 cards, and got 4 leads. So I know it works. I just have to find the time to do it.
So tell me about those 4 leads. Tell me what they're looking like.
They're not hot, but they're moving within a period of time. One lady says, I can't help you, I don't know anybody, and then called me back 30 minutes later and said, oh, by the way, my coworkers were.
Okay.
So now they all have my cards, and I just sit and wait. Or I follow up. I do, I don't know. I'm in that stage where I'm just not sure where to move forward. There's so much going on. You guys lay all this stuff on us. And I don't know where to turn. It's like, I'm signing up for this and doing that. And at some point, I've got to figure out what's the 2 things I need to focus on most and then get to the others as I go.
And
So I'm in that place.
And the 2 things to focus on is call,
Mhm.
call, and keep calling until they tell you not to call anymore. Seriously, that is the most important thing that you can do. And capture that in your EH database. Enter that information, because at some point the dial will turn and it will come back to you. And that's really how I build my business, by utilizing those models. Isaac, is that right?
That is correct.
Hi, Isaac. I'm Earla Clark, your instructor.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about you, and then tell me about your homework.
Well, I just got into real estate. I got my license last April, and I was part time with another small firm. Really part time. Barely ever worked, just on weekends here and there, and then just didn't really have they didn't really have the structure in place for part time agents. So I just decided to jump on board with Keller Williams. I had a friend that joined, and he had nothing but great things to say, so I just kind of jumped on with him because I started questioning my decision with that firm, so that's why I decided to, after doing some research and all that, and then listening to his input, decided to make that change. And then I do plan on going full time in the next couple of months, so I'm just trying to get everything ready for that, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it as far as real estate goes. So,
And how is it going with your 10-4?
10-4, it's going it's coming along here. I'm just really sticking to my sphere of influence right now. I have a couple of people that I'm working with. I guess you could say they're hot leads. So I have a viewing later on today that I'm going to do, and then I just had someone message me last night. It was a referral from a friend. So just kind of working with some people right now, just trying to get the hang of all this stuff,
We're going to talk about, hold on to that hot lead. I want to hear more about that when we get into that section. How you identify hot. That's going to be part of our conversation today. So I'll be interested in hearing how you identify that.
Okay.
Good. Julia, how's yours going?
I know I can put in more work than what I can, but I know when I do call, it's like I get appointments every time I call. So it's like if I could do 2 or 10 calls a day, I can do, if I do 25 or 30, how many leads can I bring in? So it really does work. And I've been calling FISBOs right now, trying to learn it that way. And
So you've done the FISBO scripts
yeah,
practice?
Yeah.
So have you had any success with that?
I have some, viewings with their homes, and I'll be meeting with them on Monday. And I have one today this afternoon.
Wonderful. So, how about thank you cards? Is that part of your challenge, writing those and giving those out to people?
So what should those look like exactly? I mean, I know should it be like a standard card with an envelope? Should it be a postcard? Should it be any one of those?
My personal belief is it should fit your personality.
Okay.
And maybe it fits your client's personality. So, for example, I am an avid gardener. I love to garden, and my closest friends know that about me. It's nothing I like better than digging in the dirt. It's relaxing for me, and I am really good at it. So if I know you, I'm going to send you a floral front and write something very personal in there. I may even send you a package of seeds to plant.
Okay.
If I don't know you very well, but I just met you, and I want to get to know you better, I'm probably going to send one of my very formal thank you on black on the front, thank you, write a message inside, and the back has my team's information and logo on it. So I switch it up based upon who I'm sending it to. That's what works for me. That may not work for you, but I think when you individualize something to people, doesn't it make you feel better if I know that you like pumpkins and I send you pumpkin seeds?
Yes.
Or if I know you like cars and I send you a note with a card on it that has a car on the front of it, I probably capture your attention. If I know you like pets, I probably send you something with a pet on the front of it. So I have a stack of thank you cards like this at my office. They all look very different, and we utilize whatever fits for our client. Yeah. Anybody else with the thank yous? You wrote some cards, you said.
Oh yeah, no, I wrote a bunch of cards. And the cool thing is they call back once they get the card and they find it such a touching thing that you went there. One guy just completely lost his head. It's like, it's just a card, dude, chill out. But it was really, you can tell it touches people when they get those.
Yeah. So how many emails do you get a day right now?
Maybe 7 to 10.
I bet you get
Just real estate related?
no,
Or
just
Oh,
emails.
I'm talking about
Probably
30, 40.
100.
a bunch.
How many letters do you get in the mail?
I never checked my mail.
I don't either. Isn't that weird?
So when you get something that's handwritten by someone, it tends to stand out. So one of the things that I've made a part of my 10-4 is making sure that I get enough of those pieces in the mail that are personal to people, because it really is talking about them and it's not really talking about us. But as you just witnessed, it really touched someone that you took the time to write them a note and send it to them.
Yeah, it's an investment though, right?
It is an investment. But when you get into the habit of starting your day doing that every day, it will make a difference in how you're able to get leads and to get your 10-4 done. And I'm sorry, your name is?
My name's Paul.
Hi, Paul. I'm Earla Clark, your instructor for today. How did you get to real estate?
I decided, I was working, my parents had a seafood restaurant, and I'll never forget this. I was 33, and I went in at 11, and I got out at midnight, right? So I was sitting there cutting lettuce in the back, and it was 11:15, I was just kind of, this sucks, I'm just feeling like, I said, what am I doing? I'm killing it, I'm working 80 hours a week. Like, this isn't in my restaurant, several in my restaurant, because my dad opened it, so I said, I'm gonna do something different. And I got in my car and went to Pilot Mountain that Monday, we closed Mondays. And I just sat on the side of the cliff and I wrote on, I took a pad and I wrote all the things, I wrote 3 columns, I wrote all the things I hate doing, and then I wrote all my goals in life. And I said, how am I going to get from here to here? I need a ladder. And then I wrote stuff, my strengths and weaknesses. And real estate was one of the 3. I picked 3 careers. And real estate was one, and I went with it. And then I thought, what am I doing? I'm going to a job with only commission. So I have to work at the restaurant. And I got to go now after a year. That's come from a restaurant.
So your goal is to get out of the restaurant and be full-time. Yeah. And how are you doing on your daily calls?
So I'm maxing up to 5 right now. And I've got a house under contract. And so, thank you. And I've been in this about 2 years, but not really as experienced since I've been here for 4 weeks. Because I've learned a lot here and been more active. So I did start the emails yesterday. I started emailing some people, email 2 people.
All right, how are you doing on previewing the homes?
No, I'm not doing as well.
How about the rest of you?
That's the hardest part I've found for me.
Why is that?
It's just I don't have the time in my schedule right now to,
So do you know how to do that? Do you know how to preview homes, how to make quick appointments?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how to go into showing time and do that?
Yes.
I've been wearing showing time out.
Do what?
I've been wearing showing time out.
And did you also know that you could go into listing book, sign into your listing book account and print them off? Yes, you do. Everybody has an account. So you can print those off in the order that you're going. It looks like a total packet to hand to buyers or sellers. And it's one of the tools that we used before Showtime. So if you don't know about it, you might want to check that. It can help you put them all tightly in the geographical area. So you could visit 2 on your way home and maybe work 2.
How do I get, where do you get in there?
Go talk to the girls over here because you do have a listing book account. Yeah. Previewing homes is really, really important. If you're going to come in here and call people about real estate, they're going to ask you about what's going on in the market, right? So one of the things that really helped me catapult my career, I told you I followed all these models, did all this training, but every day I previewed 5 homes after class. So you can make those calls, you can get in there, you can preview. A preview is 10 minutes. So there's a lot of homes in a tight little area. Maybe I know where you live, Trinity. Go preview 5 homes in Trinity. That's a tight area. Where do you live?
Over Brentford, Wendover, Jamestown.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
There's tons of homes over there that you could preview. How about you, Isaac?
Where
Where do you live?
over in Archdale, in Greenhaven.
Yeah, you both of them are in my area. So there's tons of homes there. They're very tight. And I have a brand new community that's just opened up called Bellawood with 104 homes going in. Go preview. Come and see us at the model and take a look and see what's out there. Where do you live? So Winston, very tight geographical. You could hit 5 or 6 homes easily in an hour period.
Greensboro.
Where are you
Pine
at?
Hall.
Well, you're a little more challenged. You're just a little bit, but do go ahead and preview those homes. And the other thing for previewing, what do you have available to you that you can click on and look at everything that's listed? Huh? MLS. So every day, one of the things that I do to stay current is if I can't get out there and view some of them, is every day I look at what hit the market, what sold on the market, what went under due diligence, because people like it when you know that. So yesterday, if I went in and said, hey, Ryan, now's the time to sell your house. There's only 17 active listings within 5 miles of you, and this is a hot little area. And we're getting top price. When you want to list with me, so you can go on to MLS and look at that type of information, even if you can't get in it to preview it. So just quickly, I'll share with you, every day I am looking for this very particular buyer. I rarely work with buyers, but this one has been in my bucket for about 2.5 years. He's very specific with what he wants. The home hit the market yesterday. We were in there last night, but we weren't alone. How many people do you think were in that house? 7 in a row. You think
At
we're
the
going to
same
be
time, or?
one right after the other? 7 in a row. 30 minutes apart. You think we're going to be in competing offers?
Yes.
Probably. Most likely, and that's pretty much where the market is today, but you got to be in there looking at MLS for your sellers and buyers to know that, and previewing. Just a tip. Any questions on 10-4s, thank yous before we move on and make our calls? No? All right, well, we're going to start off by making our phone calls. We have 20 minutes. I'll also be making calls. The best thing you can do is stay in the room and listen to each other because you will learn from each other. So it can be emails, it can be text, it can be a phone call. whatever works for your client. So you have some people that the only thing they'll do is text you, right? We are in that generation. So if that's how you have to get them to communicate back and forth, that's perfectly fine. If they want an email, send them an email. If they want a phone call, send them a phone call. And at some point, definitely get them on the phone. So for 20 minutes, we're going to make phone calls. Good morning. This is Earla. This is Patty. Hey, Patty. I was just calling to check in and see if you guys were ready to list your house. I know Paul said that some of the work was being done last week. Okay. So we're better off to go wait until next week then. Okay. Well, I know there was some things to be done, but we're removing all those distractions before we go to market, so that will be a great thing. Like Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday next week. Okay, I'll call back on Wednesday. Thank you so much, Patty. Have a great day. Bye. Hi, good morning. Is Rosemary in, please? This is Earla Clark from Keller Williams Realty. Earla, E-A-R-L-A, Clark, C-L-A-R-K. Keller Williams. And my phone number is 336-306-0448. Yes, please. Thank you. Bye. I don't hear a lot of phone calls. Hey Mandy, good morning. This is Earla. Give me a call back whenever you have an opportunity. We've been playing telephone tag. I wanted to catch up and see if there was anything we could do. Give me a call, 336-306-0448. Brian, good morning. Earla Clark from Keller Williams. How are you? I'm good. We keep playing telephone tag. Is this a good time to talk, or are you in the middle of something? I understand. Well, Chad Long had told me to give you a call, and so tell me what's going on. Are you looking to move, looking to buy? Okay. Okay. All right. So, where is your house located? Okay. And if your house sold quickly in 30 days, what would you do? Mhm. Okay. So, do you have any idea what you're looking for in your house? Okay. Is it paid off? Okay. Do you know your approximate what you owe on it? So, how long have you been in the home? Okay. All right. And you just said you've done some updates. What type of updates have you done? How, what size lot do you have? That's what half acre. Okay. All right. Well, you're in a highly desirable area. When would be a good time for me to come out and meet with you? Congratulations. Yeah, I know. I am booked. Yeah, I'm booked solid until next Friday. Would next Friday work for you? What time? Morning or afternoon? Like 9 o'clock? 10 o'clock? All right, 10 o'clock. And I will call you to confirm ahead of time, Brian, to make sure that our calendars are still in sync. So I'll look forward to meeting you, and thanks for taking my call. You have any other questions for me? All right, I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Good morning, Drake. How are you? Good. Are you in the country or out of the country right now? Well, you haven't been by your new home then, so I just wanted to update you. The landscaping went in yesterday, and I believe he's supposed to start your fence today. And then the final appraisal is being ordered for Thursday of next week. I spoke to Jeff, so we should be on target. The lawn looks great. I mean, looks just great. They had done the front when I left, but I'm sure they did because Billy sent me a message this morning saying that you were over like $1,600 or something like that. Okay, so you don't want that added to your closing statement? That's why I'm calling. Just go into the loan. If I can get Jeff to do that, if it's not too late, that's what I'd like to do. Okay. All right. Well, I just... Yeah, if you want a counter depth refrigerator like he's been getting for people, he can get you that. I think it's about $1,100, but do text him to find out definitely. All right. Yeah, he can tell you it because it's the one that fits back into the cabinet in your new homes and doesn't stick out like the other ones do. All right, well, very good. Enjoy Myrtle Beach. I'll see you when you're back. Bye. When's 20 minutes up?
That's where we started.
I have to look back at my phone. That clock is hidden behind there for me.
Well, I found one. That they want to build on property.
15. I say we've got 5 more minutes.
I can't help somebody build,
Hey
right?
Todd, this is
Yes, you can.
Hopkins.
Even if they've already bought the
You're
land.
doing
Yes,
okay?
you can.
If you
Okay,
get a chance,
talk to
give me a
You
call.
can get with the builder.
Uh-huh.
Say, let me find you a builder. I'd be glad to search one for you and make sure that builder will work for you.
And then how do I get paid on that?
The builder pays you. You write up a form, and he pays you in compensation.
And I just determine what that would be, or is that
No,
a percentage of the?
Usually, new builders are only anywhere from 2.5% to 3%, but you definitely can help them find a builder.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, new builders like for you to call them and off. The land's already purchased.
And clear.
Is it septic or
That's what she's
public
just telling
water?
me. It's septic, I think. Is that fair?
No, it's not.
Do you know anybody that's looking for a super high-end log house?
Is that what you're looking to sell?
That's, I had a listing appointment with somebody yesterday, but I didn't get the listing. Because someone that had 30 years experience had previously been by there, and they had a super nice presentation. And, you know, it was obvious, right? Because there were some friends of mine that I worked with, and they showed me the presentation, and it was well done. It was a Berkshire Hathaway lady that, I mean, she had a book like this thick of comps, pictures, color pictures, and all this other stuff.
So she did her homework before she went.
And I did too, but I just didn't do it I didn't present it that well, right? I mean, I knew everything that she knew. I had similar comps that she had, but it wasn't presented as
So they like the shiny object.
They like the shiny object. And plus they wanted somebody that had done it for 30 years and had specialized in selling specialty property. So I said, that's cool, but I'd love to find a buyer for you.
Well, we're going to talk about those presentations, so that's
Yeah.
perfect to bring up in that
Yeah.
conversation at that time.
Yeah, so I'm making, and it was cool. I was glad they let me do it because they had already had their mind made up before I got there, I'm sure. But,
So you got some experience.
I got some experience, and I told them, I said, this is great, you know, I get a chance to do this, and it's super house, but they're gonna have they're gonna have to find somebody that loves it and wants to pay for all the amenities that they have in there, which are numerous.
Well, let's talk about it then. How many calls did you actually get to?
Let's see, I made one email, made 3 calls. 2 of them were no answers and no machines. Well, one of them was no machine. I left a message.
How'd it feel?
Oh, it's cool. I love it. This is how you make your business go, right?
Yeah.
You either do it or you don't. If you're scared of this, you just hang it up. I mean, seriously, right?
Julia, how about you?
We just followed up on our appointments and make sure, you know, we're still on board with our appointments and confirm with everybody.
Do you have appointments today?
One, he got a contract on his house, so we canceled that appointment. But other ones for Monday, we confirmed, and one had to switch it around.
I did 5 people, and 2 told me to call to see.
Good. Is that text messages?
Yeah.
So
They're at work at the moment.
yeah, people that are at work, they like that text, but typically you can get in the door and you're using the method to communicate that they like to communicate with, right?
I know everyone's heard this before, but I did an update on my phone and it erased all my contacts. So I literally have 7 to 10 numbers in my phone in this family. So I'm having to use like Facebook Messenger to get numbers and get up with everybody. But
I love it though. That's a great way to connect
So,
with people.
yeah.
And let them know that you're doing something different.
So I'm having like 4 conversations now. So
Good.
I'm just going back and forth with a client who wants to view some homes. So we're just trying to get that set up for tomorrow, actually.
Jeff?
I reached out to 7 people, and I have engaged 5, and I got 1 builder lead.
Good. So Jeff's question was, can I help with the builder? Right? That was the question
She
that you
has the
had.
land purchased and cleared
So her land is where?
on her parents' property.
But what's
Greensboro.
so you can look up and see who are the top builders in the area, give them a call or ask in this office, what builder would you recommend in Greensboro that would work with my client? Better yet, call your client back and find out exactly what they want in new construction and search for that builder. The builder will work with you and pay your compensation.
I can give you advice on one.
He has one not to use.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, did you notice I was also making calls? What did you hear
Specifics.
that you picked up on? What do you mean specifics?
Particularly, you know, what's the situation of their home? Do they owe money? Do they not owe money? How long they had it? Whether they want to sell it? Very specific answers on when, Thursday or Wednesday, appointment times.
Give them options of
Give them
times.
options of times, but also make it defined. Don't just leave it open-ended. Well, when do you want to meet? Call me next week. Well, no, it's Wednesday or Thursday, right?
There's this cool little form called a pre-qualification script. It's already there for you. It has all those questions that I ask, and if I don't know the individual, never met them, this is the first sheet that I pull out and utilize. Pre-qualification script. I think I have a copy for you in my packets today as well.
That'd be great.
But it tells you tells you kind of what their motivation is. This one is a personal referral. I didn't know what the guy's motivation is. I now know what his motivation is and when he needs to do it, and he has no idea what he's looking for. So I have some homework to do before I get there. What else did you hear?
You did a good job confirming, kind of locking down that one person who was, I guess, working on their house. You all said, hey, is everything ready to kind of move forward? And they're like, not yet. You're like, well, how about next Wednesday? Or, give you another week. But it was kind of like a hard confirmation,
Nailing down
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Let's get it nailed down and get specific. Yes.
So that's a follow-up to a listing appointment. Do you already have a signed agreement with that person?
That they are signing the paperwork, but I went on 25 listing appointments in February. All 25 of them needed work, and we are still in that process. Some needed new roofs, some needed new paint, and we're going to talk about that as we get further. So these are follow-ups. shops. Out of that 25, I had 10 that's gone on the market. I still have 15 that are in some state of place.
And I would just like to know what that process looks like.
And we're going to
'Cause
talk
I
about
don't know
that
what
today.
is.
If I don't answer those questions for you when we get into the material, you stop me and ask that. What else did you learn? How many calls did I make?
4 or 5.
5. Yeah. Plus I sent 2 texts. And it didn't take long. I was never on the phone more than a minute with any of those individuals. So it's knowing what you're going to say. It's practicing those scripts and becoming confident and comfortable. So the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Look, I am stumble myself still today. There's those people that stumble you. But if you know your scripts, you'll get past that. So good job, guys. Well, let's move on. We're going to look at a video this morning. Not that you've seen any videos, right? I may have to get them back in here for... Well, excuse me just a minute. We've lost the video again. My system looks different than everybody else's.
I had a question to ask you.
Yes.
My friend, he's going to be building a home.
Mhm.
He's already signed with the builder, bro. Can I still go in and represent him?
Probably not.
Okay.
If he's already signed with the builder, I'm sure the builder has taken care of all that paperwork and yours would be in after the fact. So I doubt it.
Sure. Maybe you can give some pointers or later what we can do when people want to build a brand new home. How can we represent them?
Sure.
Things we can.
Yep, we certainly will get through that. I lost my wow video again.
It's right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it's... Thinking about it. I think it's really thinking about it. Have y'all been having this much difficulty getting the videos up in class?
It's been hard. I've been having to do some out of the classroom, and that's been really hard.
It's hard to find the stupid
Yeah.
videos.
Well, it looks different. Like when I came in this morning, my system at home, when I'm on my laptop, doesn't look like this system. So, they're all under the KW Connect, and you should be able to Google like WOW Experience and pull it up, which is I can do at home, but I couldn't do it here this morning. All right, we're not going to take that time. So let's talk about this. We're on page 11. So we're going to get your head in the game. So far, you've worked hard to find business, you've gotten appointments, you've made some calls, you've written some notes, and now it's time to work on your listing presentation. And so you want to get the listing sold by attracting buyers to the listing. You want to do a job that's great and better than anyone else so you get repeat referrals. You want to meet your seller's needs in a focused and communicative way. What does that mean to you all? Meet your seller's needs.
Listen to them.
Listen to them. That's really, if we could see that video, one of the first things he talks about in the WOW experience is make sure that you're listening to your clients. And I've shared stories with you along the way through here. I went on a listing appointment 2 weeks ago. I was up against 5 other agents. I got the appointment and she said, you're the only one that listened to me. Everyone else wanted to talk about them. You actually listened to what I need. So listen to them is the way. What does that do for you?
I think it just makes it seems like you care. Because usually when I go and I have to talk to dealers, I don't get into a pitch about myself, about cars.com. I just make it a point to ask why at least 5 times, and I just shut up and listen. And then you can kind of build off of it.
And what happens when you do that?
It goes for a much deeper conversation instead of just being real top service. You kind of get into obviously their needs and whys and wants. And
That's right.
you sort of
It's
have a better
deeper and
understanding.
deeper. They share more information with you, and what do you really learn? What their motivation or needs are. Good. So the other thing it helps you do is build a reputation, right? You're building a reputation as someone who cares, someone who listens, someone who's concerned for that client. And so that's really what people want, is us to have their best interest at heart. So let's look at page 12. Make it happen and service your listings. So there are 3 steps that are critical in the phase of listing with your seller. What are those 3 steps that you see?
Stage the property, market the listing, communicate with the sellers.
So you also have a fiduciary responsibility, and that's you're ethically entrusted to manage their money or property and do that between 2 parties. So make sure you talk about that fiduciary responsibility to your seller. I work for you. I care about you. I want to know what you need. What did we say? I need to know what you need, which is what you were talking about, right? So do you know how many sites, for example, that you market to through Keller Williams, through our KW Connect?
360.
360 now, 350 is the last thing that I saw, but we are everywhere, and there are sites that you don't even know about. Inside your listing presentation that you can find on eEdge, however, it shows you all of those different places that you market to. Have you all seen the listing presentation? So under eEdge, market my list and marketing materials, this is already done for you, and you just tweak it to match your personality and your client. And so you could have added pictures, for example, that you were talking about. It has all the different steps. It has the different places. This is under eEdge, marketing materials. There's a guide to selling your home. There's a guide for buyers. You have all of this already done. You don't have to rethink it. What you do have to do is tweak it for yourself, because there's a back page that's in Spanish, perhaps, that's about your references, and I have no idea what it says. So you need to change it and make it specific to you. You had a question?
I started on that because I had prepared one of those for the listing I was at yesterday, and they were super nice people, but they were just like, no, we're not going through this. Here's what we want. And I listened to them, but they didn't want to see any part of that, right? But during the conversation, there were parts in there like a reference on how long your house should be listed. But as far as going through a formal presentation,
Right?
no, it wasn't for them.
Right? They didn't want that formal presentation,
No,
so it's not for every person. So
Right.
that makes it
So
important
it's
for you to
important,
what?
yeah, understand your customer.
That pre-qualification script that I talked to you about. Some of them will tell you in that pre-qualification what they're looking for. If they want bells and whistles, you need to show up with the bells and whistles. If they like the bright shiny object, show up with a picture.
They wanted that, but they didn't want to talk about it. Which
Didn't want
is
to talk about it.
interesting.
So I don't use this entire packet, and I have found something different, and I've shared that with you today. So when I go on the listing appointment, I have this page, and I just pass it out to you. It's called Preparing Your Home for Sale. And so when I go on the listing appointment, we talk about this. And some of these things were already in there, but some of them have come from my years of experience. And you can go in and get this same form and do exactly what I did and make it personalized. So that's the first sheet that I hand them. The second sheet that I gave you is what to do while your home is listed. You know, we're going to talk about that form later. Then once you're under contract, what you should do. And then if you're closing, what should you do? And then your moving checklist. How helpful would that be to someone? Do you ever think people forget about the post office or something like that? So I broke mine down into pieces, you know, just based upon feedback where people didn't want that entire piece at one time. It was too much. And so we have broken it down into different steps. What does that also allow me to do? How many steps are in there? 5. So how many times do I get to touch that person?
5.
And while I'm on the phone, I might ask for what? Do you know anyone else who's looking to buy or sell while we're on the phone? Gives me an opportunity to have 5 more conversations. And I have a closing coordinator who takes care of this, but it allows me to call and say, hey, just want to make sure you receive that document we sent you. Do you have any questions on it? And still we're able to touch them. So I wanted to share that packet with you this morning because it's been hugely successful for us and widely, popularly received by our clients. Let's talk about the staging of property. I love this analogy. Think about buying a car. When you look one or see one online, which one attracts you the most?
Pretty soon.
Shiny, clean car or the rusty, dirty one with bald tires? Which one attracts you the most? So, I'm sorry?
The clean car.
Yeah, so how do you take that and turn that around about a house? How do you take that analogy?
Make sure it's clean, orderly.
Cluttered.
But if you're talking to the seller for the first time and they have some issues, how could you use that and say to them in the exact same way, only about a house?
You're going to clean this mess up.
Oh, that's what we want to say, but there's nice ways to say that.
I guess you could say that you want people to remember the house, not all your stuff. It was really cluttered, or talk about the curb appeal presentation from the photos. Because they're probably gonna, at least the people I have will look at it, and if the house looks bad, I really want to see it.
So, in order to sell your house today, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the first thing I have to do is sell it online. Because how many shoppers sell online? Where do you search first? And I might even say, where do you search first, Ryan? When you're shopping, where do you go first?
They said Zillow.
Yeah. Go to Zillow. Paul, where would you go?
Yeah.
You're going to go online. Bottom line, you're going online. So in order to get that shiny object online, we need to remove some distractions. That's what I call them. And this has worked for me. I want to remove those distractions for you because buyers think that bucket of paint costs $500 and it's really $25. So let's remove that distraction before we go to market. Let's put you out there in the best possible light. You like that word?
Mm-hmm.
Now I said exactly what you did. You need to clean this mess up. I just said it in a nicer way. And when you say remove distractions, what do you think about? If you're walking up to the front door, and what would be one of those first distractions?
Peeling front door.
Peeling front door. Automatically, you open the first thing you see is that front door. It's peeling paint. What do they look for next? They'll start looking for things that are wrong. So let's remove that distraction. Or if you need fresh mulch this time of year, that would be it. Tell them to envision themselves in the home. make the conversation about you working as a team to help stage for the buyers. And you should get a list of good stagers in this area because staging does sell. Look at page 14. Someone read that statistic. The 32%, what?
32% of realtors report a 1%, report a 1%, 5%, 1 to 5% increase in the offer.
What's the next one?
16% of realtors report a 6% to 10% increase in the offer.
And
3% of realtors report a 11% to 15% increase in the offer.
now where's the most money spent on staging? According to this graph.
3%.
Where do you see the graphic? It says rank them in importance. Your little diagram of the house.
Kitchen. Are we choosing rooms here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the kitchen.
Living room.
Living room.
It says the living room.
Oh,
Oh, I'm not looking, I'm guessing. But I'm wrong.
But why would the living room be number one in this particular instance?
First thing you see when you walk
It's
in
the
the door.
first thing you see when you walk in the door,
Gotcha.
right? The kitchen is very important, however. I would tell you that kitchens, living room, and the master bedroom and bath, those are critically important for staging.
Do you try and convince your seller to pay for that?
Yes. Yes, because we're gonna give them how much more money?
11 and 15.
So we're gonna get you more money by presenting your house in the best possible light. So,
I just want to understand this. 3% of realtors report and 11 to 15% increase. Is that the 3% that's putting pressure on the seller to fix things in the house? Where most realtors, for example, 32% just kind of say whatever. I'm not sure how much of that.
32% of realtors report that
they get,
because of why? Why do they report
because
that?
of staging the home and removing those distractions, you get 11 to 15% more on your house.
And there's 3% of realtors that are staging correctly. Is that what it's saying?
It's saying that those 3% have gotten more money. So
Okay. That's what
we don't really know what their numbers are, but let me give you some specifics from my experience. So I had a $550,000 house in Louisville. Y'all know where Louisville is, right? Pretty good area. My sellers I had known forever. They've been friends of mine 21 years. Those are your toughest clients sometimes. And they didn't have granite in their kitchen. Had this huge kitchen, about the size of this room. Beautiful gourmet kitchen. But they didn't have granite, they had corian. When I first listed the house, I recommended that we put in granite and they objected, and I said, okay. So after 40 days on the market and not selling and getting the feedback, oh, I wish it had granite, they put in granite. We still didn't get an offer. And they are very minimalistic, too minimalistic. They've lived that way their entire lives, just white walls, no color, milli vanilli, all the way through. So I said, let me bring in a stager. We brought in a stager. And this stager started from the outside with a 360-point checklist. They did 2 weeks worth of work. We sold the house in 2 days. For full price.
What was the staging cost?
Cost them $2,500. There was some painting done. There was some railing changed out. There was some pictures hung on the wall. The bedding was changed out. And then they had a massive master bedroom, but it was shaped odd and people couldn't see a king-size bed in there. They brought in the king-size bed, removed some other pieces, and bam, we sold the house. So they tell me now, I wish I had listened to you in the beginning. And I'm saying to myself, no matter if it's my friend, we have to push. I'm going to get you more money if you'll just do these few things. Sometimes you have to spend a little to get what you want. But it was about, they ended up spending on their kitchen and staging altogether about $11,000. But it was well worth it. I mean, think about a kitchen this size with all that granite. That's a lot of granite. A lot of granite.
What did they have? I'm sorry. They had what?
Corian.
What's corian?
That's the thing that came out in
It's like
early
artificial leather.
'90s, and if you cut it, you could use a SOS pad or something and scratch it off, and it was just kind of bland.
It was supposed to be the good stuff when it came out, right?
Well, everything's the best when it first comes out. You know, laminate was great when it first comes out. Now we're pre-engineered hardwoods. But my lesson, and one that I hope you take away, is you really have to have that conversation and say, I'm going to get you more money by doing this. Is paint expensive? Paint's really cheap. Do people think it's expensive? If they don't want to do it themselves, it
Yeah.
costs a lot of money to get your house painted. But if you paint the entire house and I get you top price, wouldn't it be worth $3,000 more?
You would only do that on an expensive home. though, right?
I would do it on all homes.
Really?
Today's market, I would do it on all homes. I'm going Saturday to a house that I looked at in December. It's an estate. The entire house needed new flooring and painting. It's going to be about a $150,000 house. But if they didn't do it, I couldn't give them more than $90,000 because it looked that bad. The bones of the house are good, but if you need new flooring and you need paint, you're only talking a couple $1,000s in this house.
Do stagers do that?
They will.
Thing?
Stagers will do that. If you want them to, the stagers will do that. You'll pay a premium for it.
Yeah, sure.
These people decided to do it themselves, so it's only going to cost them $2,000 or $3,000 to do it. But I'm going to maximize their money at the end. They're going to get closer to asking price. Because if you walk into a house, if you were buying right now, and you walked in and you saw this carpet with red stains, and you saw scratches all along the wall, and there was a slight odor, what do?
Walk out.
Yeah.
This is exactly right. They turn around and they walk right out, and they think this has got too much work for me to do. Where if you do it up front, remove those distractions, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I can maximize your money on this house.
So the stagers, if they're living in the house and have a lot of stuff, do you make them take stuff out and the stagers bring stuff in, or do they utilize what they already have? Or
Sometimes both. Sometimes they take things out because it's too much. Sometimes we move things around because it fits better in a different location. Sometimes we box it all up and the stagers bring everything in. And sometimes I just go in and say, let me move your sofa, rearrange 2 chairs and move a picture, and we're going to make this look better. Because today, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have to sell it online first before I can get them in the house, right?
And they have to keep it that way through the showing.
Well, that's on my list.
Okay.
Things that you must do, yeah, in order to keep this on. How do you like that word, remove the distractions?
I like that.
So how would you handle these objections? Look at page 15. I don't see why this is so important. What are you going to say to them, Ryan?
honestly, I guess you'd have to, if you're talking about, say, like online merchandising, is to try to take your seller's hat off and put your buyer's hat on and look at it if you were trying to find this house online. Would you be willing to go look at a house that maybe wasn't like the one right down the street?
So Ryan, do you ever go grocery shopping?
I do.
So do you like apples?
I don't.
You don't? You like to look at them?
I do.
So if there were 2 apples side by side, on one was green and kind of white spots on it, and there was one polished, high and shiny, which one would you buy?
With a polished one.
Yeah. So I want that same thing for your house. Now I put you in the role play scenario, but most people go to the store like apples, and that bright shiny car, that bright shiny apple, people always pick up the red juicy strawberry instead of one that's sort of just laying there and doesn't look so good. You can utilize things, cars, vegetables, whatever it is that attracts them. So Isaac, what would you say when they say, do I really have to make this repair?
I'm sorry, I was communicating with a buyer.
We're on page 15.
Page 15?
Uh-huh. Do I really have to make this repair?
Second question.
No, you don't have to.
No, yeah.
But
It will help.
you're not going to sell your house likely if you won't, or the number of buyers that will walk in the door will diminish considerably.
So I like this line. Well, we can sell it this way. We can sell it as is. It's probably going to take longer, and you won't get top dollar. Because when I hear as is, what does that make you think of?
There's problems.
There's a problem. There's a repair. So let's fix it now. What if that repair, and this happens a lot, what if that repair, you know those little plastic covers that go over your electrical boxes outside to protect it?
Mm.
They show up on 90% of home inspections. What do you think it costs to replace that little plastic piece?
It's like $20, $15, $10.
$3 or $4 to replace just the plastic cover itself. If you have to put the whole piece, it might be that much. But this is just the lid. So just the little lid is broken. Or the dryer vent duct is broken off and birds can get in. You know, you're talking less than $50 for the two of those. So if you fix those, we've removed that distraction or that peeling paint. And oh, by the way, VA and FHA are going to make you fix them anyway. They see peeling paint, the appraiser puts that as a condition of the loan. So let's take care of it. Those are some things that you can utilize. So,
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
Do all loans do a survey?
no,
Appraisal, I'm sorry, appraisal.
yes,
All loans do an appraisal?
yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, they do. Let's go to page 16. Market the listing. And let's look at this 14-point marketing plan.
Well, I saw that.
What do you think of this?
I think some of them are pretty intense.
Such as which one?
The 3D tour. You have to hire somebody to do that. Not that it isn't a bad thing, but is it worth the value? I'm wondering. Pictures and stuff.
What do you all think? Why?
Because it lets a buyer, before they even walk in the door. Envision themselves in that house. See their furniture in that space. So they're more invested in the space when they actually do walk in the door than they would have been otherwise.
Unless they're selling it as is.
Unless they're selling it as it is.
So, I use 3D tours for every one of my homes now, irregardless of the price point. But I do it for a specific reason. 2 specific reasons, actually. How do you shop today? What device do you use? Mobile. And what's mobile friendly? 3D. This 3D camera is mobile friendly. You can click the walking button and it walks you through the house, or you can take your finger and scroll through it. It's mobile friendly. Can you do that with a video?
How much are those for a house to do the?
Talk to me afterwards. I happen to have owned another company now that does that.
Okay.
Thrown in 3D.
Yep.
Because that's the way that.
You mean like the virtual reality where you,
Yes.
that stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's where, if you have those, you
Absolutely.
can do that. But if you don't have that, you can scroll with your finger online.
But I've noticed that a lot of the websites, like MLS and stuff, don't allow you to
Yes, they
upload
do.
video.
Yes, they
Well,
do.
you have to show me how to do that because I have a video to upload and I can't figure it out.
Yeah, as long as it's not branded, you can absolutely
Yeah.
put it on there. Yeah. Let's get back to this marketing list. First thing you want to do is what?
Price and competitive.
Price it competitively. Secondly, do what?
Advising buyers how to try selling.
Yeah.
This is the repair thing, right?
That's the repair. That's the removing the distractions. Then we're going to place for sale signs and property flyers in front of the home. Do you all like the property flyers?
I've heard a lot of people don't.
It's a maintenance issue, I would think. They go quickly and then you gotta replace them. And
So,
I've heard conflicting from
Yeah.
real estate.
If it rains,
sellers like them, but here's how I don't use them, except on new construction. When we're building the house, I'll put them out there. But the rest of the time, I don't. They do get wet. How many kids drive by and pick one up and you find it in the yard? But here's what I say to my sellers. I'm listing your house, Jeff. Who do you think knows more about the house than you? Other than you, the seller, who knows more about your house right now?
My neighbors.
No, wrong answer.
I don't know.
It's me as the listing agent.
Oh, well, yeah,
because
of
I
course.
just spent my 2 or 3 hours with you, going through your home, videoing it, asking you what your motivation is. So let me get that phone call instead of them picking up a paper and discrediting your home and discounting it without ever walking in. Are you okay with that? That's what I say. So who knows more about your house right now than just you and your husband or you and your wife? I do, because I've spent all my time here with you. I videoed it. So let me take the phone calls and be the person that sells your house.
Do you do that videoing and things like that on the listing appointment, or do you do that as a secondary?
No, the videos always come after they sign all the documents and we make an appointment with the photographer. Okay, respond to all buyers' inquiries immediately. Well, Julia, since I'm going to be getting the phone calls, I'm going to be answering the calls of every buyer and sending it on to the appropriate staff member. Is that okay with you? You like that idea, or would you rather I did something different?
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Who pays for the videoing and that? Do you?
It's part of my marketing.
I have a lady that's selling the house that she won't even respond to me. Her realtor won't. So I called her 2 days in a row just saying, hey, I get really interested in her. But now I think we're making an offer on a different property today. And she was just going on.
Customer service, man. You can make money doing this.
Yes. Okay. We hope that everyone returns calls. We're going to talk about that part in here too. Optimize the home's internet presence by posting your property in the KWLS. Do you know about KWLS, the Keller Williams Listing Service? So we at Keller Williams play nicely with a lot of different places. The reason that your listings go out to 360 locations is because of KWLS. So it's in the same area as your green sheet is KWLS. And you can actually go in there and make some changes that you won't see on MLS. You can make in KWLS and send out to other sites, like contact Earla Clark at 336-306-0448 for more information. And that's okay to do on KWLS.
You put on MLS and KWL.
You put it on MLS, it feeds to KWLS. KWLS feeds to Zillow and Truity and Realtor.com and all of those different locations. Market the home on multiple websites, including your own KW local office and KW national sites. So if you were going on a listing presentation against one of the smaller agents, smaller groups in our locale, do they have national exposure?
Yes. Yes, no.
International exposure? Most of them don't. Do we?
Yes.
Why do we have that?
More people to see. More likely to
No, we're an international company. So when I put my listing out there, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it goes to other Keller Williams agents have the opportunity to see that as well. So are we a destination state for retirees and people moving in? Are there a lot of folks moving from up north here? Because we have lower tax rates, bigger properties, greener grasses? The answer is yes. And those agents have exposure to our listings, don't they, through KWLS? So you might want to list with a company that can, because the person moving into this house, I don't see him moving from Archdale into this home, but I do see someone from New York moving down here or Florida moving here. And I can get that exposure for you. I use that all the time. How about your mobile apps? Do you all have your mobile apps up and running?
Yes, I love that.
Good. So how do you use that with a seller?
Tell anybody can reach you anytime.
What else do you do with that app with the seller?
Give it to
Compare the prices of the homes.
Share it with your seller and tell them to do what?
Share it.
With their
Buyers.
with their friends.
Or with their
Family.
friends, yeah.
With your friends, with your family, no matter where it's at, because what will happen if you search for English Pride Drive in Trinity, North Carolina, and looking for a house? Brian's got a house out there. it'll show up on that app. So you want to share that app with them. And tell them to share it with your friends. Share it with everybody you know, because one of your friends, share it with your neighbors. They might want to pick out their next neighbor.
That's right.
Because aren't we a mobile society? We are.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you share the app, do you have to go inside the app and then share it, or can you just hit share on your phone?
You can do it inside.
You have to go inside the app.
No, you
right?
don't.
You don't have to, but
No, you don't.
you can.
You can, right? Because I figured out if you share it while it's like on your, say, desktop of your phone, it just sends them the link to download the app. It doesn't really send them the personalized one.
Yes, it does. You hit share app right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to text message it.
Right.
And I'm going to text message it to him. It sends them that all they have to do is click that link.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. And I did it like that, and that's when the buyer said, okay, now I got it. Because I sent it to them the other way, and they were like, wait, this is like sending me to just the link. I don't, it's weird. It's kind of hard to explain, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it would have it, because that's a very simple share.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I just utilized that myself. I did a bridal show in January, and in order to be entered in for our $1,000 giveaway, you had to download my app while you're there. We had 240 brides download our mobile app.
Oh, wow.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're using it because we've got 2 of them under contract.
And is there a way you can like say text this code to this number and it'll direct you to your app person?
Just go download your app on your phone and just share it. That's all you need to do. At the bottom, if you receive an email from me, I have a tagline that says, want my mobile app, text this code and download this. Yes, I have that on my email.
That's the greatest. If I make a call and I'm able to share my app with someone, that's a successful call.
At open houses, share your app. Not your business card, share your app and get you some business going.
Somebody was talking about a B card. I don't know about that. I need to.
Yeah, that's what I use Me for digital business card, and you can kind of put all that in there, so you can just text and you have their phone number and it automatically generates that. Me.
But if you use this app, it feeds directly into your database and you don't have to double do that.
And you could probably put a link to your app on your email signatures.
You can. And you can also put it on the back of your business card.
What do you mean it feeds directly into your database?
I mean,
Your
your
e-edge.
e-edge database. If you scan this card, the back of my business card for your mobile app, you're going to show up in my database as a new lead. And I have you everything I need to start marketing to you. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let's get back to the sellers. I'm going to share my app. I want you to share my mobile app. Your home is going to show up on there and we're going to get more exposure. I'm also going to send you a link on social media and I want you to share it with all of your friends and family too. Okay. Create flyers and comment cards for viewers or properties. Have y'all done open houses yet?
Ooh.
So tell me about that.
What do you mean?
How did you create your open house schedule? What did you present for your open house?
They've been different, you know. I started looking at all of the homes. I feel like the home that I'm selling right now is a good deal compared to what's for sale around. So I've gotten a little ballsy and I've printed off all of the marketing materials for all of the homes around me for sale. I have it up on an easel inside the house so I can walk people through the competition in the area and show why the house they're in right now is better than anything else. I have a sign-in sheet for them. I don't like to hover, but I follow and I listen and I eavesdrop. And I'm trying to do something different every time because this seller is requiring I do an open house every weekend for this house.
So have you had traffic at your open house?
The last one was really heavy, yeah.
What's heavy?
About 12 different parties came through.
Yeah, that's a good turnout. So did you have flyers available for them?
I
And
printed
comment
them off of
cards?
the marketing. I don't have comment cards. And I find it hard to get them to sign in. Like they see me as the enemy when they walk in the door. I can feel that. And I try to be friendly, welcome them in, and they can just
So, and they do. So here's what I've done differently. I have the book lying out and I say, welcome, take a look around. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. And I would just really appreciate before you leave if you wouldn't mind filling out the comment card and signing it for me. No, at your time. I'll be over here if you need me. I don't follow them around or listen to them. I'm there to answer questions. And I have found that to be more successful for me.
And they don't just leave the house without signing?
Yes, there's always one or two that will, but the majority of them will say, yeah, I'll fill it out. They may not give you all the information you want, but a comment card on the house, most of the time they'll fill those out.
And are those just like 3x7 or something?
I print them off on my 2 per sheet and we cut them in half. So I was like, what do you think of the condition? What do you think of the location? What do you think of the price? What could the seller do differently?
Oh, that's so good. I didn't think about that.
So something simple.
I actually heard somebody say, like, on a sign-in sheet, if you put like some fake names or something, just to make people feel comfortable saying, well, other people signed it, so I'll sign it too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like a feeding the pump, priming the pump on a ticket.
Yeah.
So it's condition, price, location, and what could the seller do differently?
What could the seller do differently? Or any feedback you have for the seller? Look at number 10 on this list. Target your marketing to active real estate agents who specialize in selling homes in the neighborhood. So do you know any agents that specialize in your area? That you have?
200 of them.
200 of them.
I know that there are several houses in my neighborhood for sale.
And who are the agents?
The one's for Keller, and then they're different companies. There's a FISBO I kept driving past, and I thought, I need to go in there, and I never did it. Last time I went past it, it's got a RE/MAX sign in the yard now, so somebody did it.
So if you have a bunch of agents in that area, what could you do to help with that open house?
Contact them all.
And do what?
A broker open house?
Huh?
A broker open house?
A broker open.
You can just do
Hey,
a team.
Jeff. Yeah. Earla, I noticed that you have a house for sale. Isaac's got one, Paul's got one. Hey, could we all hold the open house together at Thursday from 12 to 2? I'll serve lunch. You all bring a gift card, see if we can get some realtors out here to take a look at our house. Or, hey, I'm gonna hold my house open on Sunday from 2 to 4. Would you like to hold yours open at the same time so that maybe we can get more traffic? It works.
Yeah. If you could do a bunch of them all together and have something just come by and do them all,
It works.
that's probably a pretty cool idea.
But targeting I work in primarily the Randolph-Davidson County area, heavy in Trinity, Thomasville, Archdale area. So if you know that about me and you're listing a house in Trinity, Archdale, or Thomasville, would you want to send me a sheet and say, hey, if you have a buyer, I'd love to work with you?
Yeah.
If I had known you yesterday, I sent out a sheet on a house I listed in Kernersville that said, who do you know that this is the house for them? It's a great house. It's got a pool. It's a backyard oasis for the summertime. Who do you know that that needs this house? And I sent that out to 240 agents yesterday.
The nice thing about it too is if your agent has an open house or somebody that they advertise an open house, then the traffic to come see them will see yours as well.
That's right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Because not every house fits every buyer, but there is a buyer for every house. We just have to find it, right? You said something about creating an open house schedule and market. How have you been marketing your open house?
Well, it dawns on me now, not as well as I could have.
Well, no, that's all right. That's why we're
We're
here.
putting it in all the sites, and it's everywhere.
Okay. So everywhere, where's everywhere to you?
The 360 places that it is online, MLS, Realtor.com, Zillow, all that stuff.
So you've gone in there and said open house and activated that. What else have you done?
You can door knock the neighbors
Door knock the
and
neighbors?
invite them.
I love that idea.
and invite them. Don't we all want to pick out a nice neighbor to live next door to us? And you know your neighbors are nosy to see what you've done to the house to get it ready. So they may even be interested in moving up or down themselves.
Especially, I mean, that's just contacting the area you're farming, right?
Yeah.
Love that idea.
When I did that once, I picked up 3 listings because the guy said I was the first real estate agent that he ever saw work.
Nice.
Whatever works, you know.
Wow.
What he said. Let's talk about the open house again. So there's a lot of different ways to market, but I want you to think outside the box because everybody does MLS, everybody does Realtor.com, everybody does Zillow. What could you do differently?
Facebook,
Facebook.
door to door,
How many people are on Facebook?
tons. Not me though.
You're not on Facebook? Get on Facebook. It's very important to you.
It's really easy to like promote things on Facebook and reach an audience that you like can't even imagine. I mean, if you pay you can advertise an ad. You can put an ad out there for an open house. I think it costs like maybe $7, and you can like reach like everybody in like a certain district, age group, you know.
Yes.
So it's like it's really good. It's really good as far as that goes.
I'll second that, because we do it at our restaurant.
Yes.
If it's
Wow.
a special, we'll target a market, and then we'll pay. But we get feedback from our customers saying, "Oh, we saw it on Facebook. We saw your dish on Facebook."
And then,
Others that-
How does that work again? What is that?
You have to have a business page
Mhm.
first.
that's
Does
great.
that cost money?
You set up your Facebook page, and then this is a social media class, but he's right. What he's saying and you're saying is right. Set up your Facebook page, then do you a business page, and with a business page, you can pay for ads, and they're cheap. They can be $1 for a day, $3, $7, $10, $50, and you target your audience. Who wants to be in the Wheatmore School District? It's the hottest school in Randolph County right now. I'm going to target them. Who wants to be
Ages, blah, blah, blah.
Interstate 85? You know, who wants to be in Greensboro? You target them, you promote it, you might get 51 to 10,000 people looking at it. I didn't grow up in this area. I didn't go to school here. My children didn't. We moved here about 21 years ago to this part of North Carolina. I didn't know anyone. For my previous jobs, I traveled all over 2 states is what I covered. I didn't have the tight connections here. 2 years ago, it'll be 3 now. 96% of my business came from Facebook. Now I'm at almost 100% referrals. Those ads that you're talking about are absolutely something different that no one else is doing.
How does Facebook know if somebody's looking for a home in a specific school district?
They just
Because
blanket
they talk
everybody in
about
there.
it.
And the age range, right?
They talk about it.
You target the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are on there
Right,
talking
so
about it all the
I'm
time.
going to do that when I leave you today.
Yeah. So,
And then people that like it, you can just like start communicating with them. You know, just add them as friends, invite them to like your business page.
and when you show up on Sunday, go live on Facebook. Hey, this is Jeff. I'm out here today at
Yeah.
Bellawood. I'm going to be here from 2 to 4. Take a look at this house. I can't wait to see you here. 2 to 4. Here's my address.
There's a mega agent in California who, I'm Greek, so she had a Greek last name. I just wrote her a message, and she wrote me back and gave me her number. I never got to talk to her. She does it all the time. All the time, her feed pulls up, and she's like, "Hi, this is Heidi again," and she was on the Realtor cover. I mean, she's a mega agent on there, and she's just everywhere she is doing an open house. She does a live feed.
Do a live feed. You'll be amazed.
Just don't
Do
stumble
some-
over your words while you're live.
No.
Sometimes
Sometimes the goofiest things you
what about
do.
people coming and spray painting my house?
Sometimes the goofiest things.
There's some haters out there for me right now.
Yeah, goofy things sometimes get you talented.
Yeah, that's
If you
true.
follow me on Facebook, you'll see that my team got me outside with an umbrella last week, dancing in the rain, singing "Rain, Rain, Go Away," moving real crazy. I got so much feedback. People came to see me at the open house. Crazy. But I sold a house that day too.
They like that. It's entertainment.
People want to know that you're real. And I don't like to be on Facebook Live, but it's not about me. And if you take any more of my classes, you'll hear me say, it's not about you. It's about what you say to begin with, the customer, right? Target active buyers and investors in your database. Do you all know any investors?
No, but I'm open to meet as many as would like to say hi.
So I'm going to share a true story with you. 7 years ago, I got this call from an agent who said, hey, somebody wants to see this foreclosure and I really don't want to show it to them. Do you want that? And I said, sure. So glad I did. He turned out to be an investor. Now, I've just started my 8th year in real estate. He's now bought 7 homes from me.
Oh.
We started off with $100,000. He flipped it and I sold it. So he bought 7. I also sold 6 of his. And he went up 200 and then 300. And this last one was $1.5 million over in Winston that foreclosed at $400,000 and he's flipping it.
Wow.
So don't be afraid to take that call that's looking at a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 foreclosure because it might turn into some business for you. And it would be future business if you handle it correctly. So look for those buyers and investors in the market for those properties. If you have one that's in disrepair, put it out there on Facebook or somewhere and said, hey, this is an investor special. If you're looking for one that you can flip and it's in an area that typically will get some high rentals, give me a call. Provide the seller with weekly updates detailing your marketing efforts. What can you do for marketing efforts that we haven't discussed? You're already knocking on doors, you're doing open houses, you put out flyers, you make phone calls, we've done Facebook. We're going to tweet it also. We're going to put it on Instagram. We're going to do all the social media links. Google Plus. What else could you do?
Go to some of the local businesses that are right around.
You could. You absolutely could. So I'm going to go back to my new development. The first thing I did was knock on Barbecue Joe's, who's my neighbor next door, saying, hey, we're building this new development. Can I put a flyer up here? And he said yes. Guess what else happened? He bought a house there. It's right next door to his business. It's a win-win. You never know who's in your market. You've got a couple of other things, though, that you may not know about because you're new. In MLS, there's something called reverse prospecting.
Just discovered that.
So if you have a listing, you can hit the button at the bottom. It's called reverse prospecting. And it may say to me, hey, Ryan has a buyer that's looking for this specific property. And I can email Ryan and say, hey, Ryan, I'm going to be here Saturday at an open house. I noticed that you have a buyer. His number is, I don't know if there's a number, their name or anything, but each person has a client number. And I can tell you what that number is and you can contact that person. I'm reverse prospecting. The other thing that you do, when you utilize eEdge correctly and you build your database and you put in there that Jeff is looking for a house in the Greensboro area and he wants 3+ bedrooms between $200,000 and $250,000, I can go into any of the listings through our market center and I can share that with them and say, hey, this just hit the market. I think it might be the one for you. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when I list your house, not only am I looking to sell it, I'm actively looking for a buyer for you. I have 5,100 people in my database. One of those might be the right buyer. So, did you know that about your database?
I like the MLS feature that you can actually have it email you when the new listing comes up in
Yes.
a particular area.
Yes.
That's just cool.
Absolutely. You can
And
do
you
the
can
same
do
thing
yourself.
through your own database. Your own database will do the same thing if you put that client in there correctly. And the reason I use my database versus MLS, because everything they do, I can see. I can email back and forth. I can mark it to them. I can ask them questions. They can email me, and I have a long record of everything that we've done in one location. Questions?
There's gotta be a class for that, because this is the
That's
overwhelming
your
part, right?
technology. That's your technology piece. Go to your technology classes. They're critical to you. All right. Let's go to page 17.
That's what I'm talking about. There's like every minute there's something new that we need to get. Like I feel like there's so much I could be using right now that it's just so overwhelming. It's so much.
Just keep eating the elephant, man.
Drinking from the fire hose.
Database. I know you talked to Arlene, right?
No.
You not? None of you've had?
I've been playing phone tag.
I have. I've
Okay.
talked to her.
I'm meeting today.
Database. Go to your database. Every day be in your database. Keep it up on your screen. Log people as you talk to them. Put in their numbers. Put in the information. Make notes of what the conversation had. And you've got one place that you have everything you need. That's what I use.
You should have that open while you do your calls, right?
Should have it open when you're doing your calls. All right, let's look at page 17. Evaluate the property features through these points from your 14-step marketing plan. So look at pricing. Has anyone looked at a house this week?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about the house.
It was a 3,800 square foot house. It was a log home. It was in a made to order home, made to order. The word escapes me. Subdivision.
They're all
And
log homes?
They're not all log homes. They're all specialty built. This was the most massive home in the subdivision. It was when they bought the home, they bought a separate lot along with it. And everything was special about this house. It had 2 septic systems. It had 2 geothermal HVAC systems, and they had granite countertops. Just from top to bottom, it was a specialty home.
Where was it at?
It was in Colfax, right near Colfax.
So, 3,800 square feet. Was it priced according to the comps?
No,
What was wrong?
because all the comps didn't. It had an in-house basement apartment, and it was it's a specialized home.
We need a different house, because that one has too many things that are hard to comp. Geothermal, log home. I lived in one. A log home.
Do you want to buy one?
No. I have a lot of reasons why. There's just too much there that would be difficult to comp.
I actually asked Arlene to help me with the comp because I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
And she goes, "This is tough."
Yeah. So for class purposes, who else has seen a home this week? You have? What was your house?
It's in Old Emerywood.
Okay.
It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,400 square feet. Everything kind of redone on the inside. And it has, are you familiar with Old Emerywood? It has a really old basement, so it has one of those, but they've redone the middle and upstairs.
So that's very typical for Emerywood, but 2-bedroom, 1 bath is not typical. So were you able to get comps?
I have not. So I was we saw it last night, so I was gonna try to find someone around here because they want to make an offer, but I'm not even sure trying to find a comp.
So 2-bedroom, 1 bath. 1 bath is not uncommon in Old Emerywood, but 2-bedroom is really uncommon. So what you could do is just use a 3-bedroom, 1 bath and deduct for the additional bedroom. So did you think it was too high or too low?
So it was priced at $159,500, and 4 days ago they dropped it to $149,500 because they're wanting to sell. Everything on the street, it is hard because I think 7 doors down there's like a $3 million house, and then the other houses are probably anywhere from the mid 200s.
What street are you
on Wellington.
Wellington.
So right there at Wellington and
Yeah.
Westwood, they have that big old white house.
Yeah. So are y'all familiar with Old Emerywood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Old Emerywood's really unique. You could have a little row of cottages on this street, and the next street over might be $400,000, and then there's $1 million behind there. But there's plenty of comps in Old Everywood this year. Lots of comps, and especially on Wellington. I've sold a couple myself over there. So you can probably get it. Does the price seem high though to you right now or low? Just based on what you think?
I'd say for a 2-bedroom one, I was thinking maybe mid 140s is probably more realistic. I thought 159 was really high.
I think 159 was really high too, but 140s I could probably see in that location, especially if it's been remodeled. Yeah. What about the signage for the house?
It had just the for sale sign out.
What about online?
It was fine. The pictures were fine. Nothing over the top, but it was just kind of average, I thought.
So where do your signs have to be according to local ordinances?
That's a good question.
Do you know?
No,
When can you put out signs if you're doing an open house?
Fridays
At what time?
after 5.
Afternoon. And they have to be picked up before
Sunday.
Monday.
Monday.
Okay.
Before Monday.
Alan Tate wears that out in the time out.
Yeah.
All day.
Now, in front of the house though, in the yard, when can you put that open house sign out?
anytime.
Friday at noon in the neighborhood I'm in.
Not in the front yard.
Oh, not in the front yard.
In the front yard, you can put it in there anytime. I'm talking about in the front yard. So I put my open house signs out on Tuesdays in the front yard. And then my open house is either Saturday or Sunday. And it says that on there, open house Saturday or open house Sunday, whatever time. So I can put it in the front yard and generate some interest all week long. But the directionals out front are what he said. Friday at noon, pick them up Monday.
And when do they, how close can they be to the road? Is there?
Every ordinance is different, so make sure you know that. You can't be, in some neighborhoods, you can't put, like there are condos and stuff that you can't put signs out at all. Some townhouse areas that you can't put signs out. Can't even put them in the yard, you have to put them in the windows. So you need to check that with any HOA restrictions as well. Okay, how was the house staged?
It really wasn't. I mean, they had like throw sheets over the couches and they had a bunch of boxes in one of the bedrooms. It really wasn't.
So the throw sheets across the couches, how did that make your buyers feel?
I don't know if they paid a whole lot of attention to it, or it kind of irked me because I just thought it was pretty trashy. But
So you thought it looked trashy. So in your mind, you're already devaluing that house. So your buyers may have had that same perception. So what would you have done differently?
I mean, I think I would have really decluttered the house. That when you walk in, I mean, the whole wall was boxes. It took away from the windows, so it made it kind of darker. And I would have definitely, if the stagers, I think probably could have really helped because it looked fine on the outside. Just you kind of got in and it was just.
Did they have a garage?
They did. Well, it's not a garage. It's like a half garage, half carport kind of thing. I don't really know how you describe it. It's kind of unique, but yeah, it was jam packed with stuff.
The garage was too. So in a lot of cases, I'll say to the seller, these boxes that you have in this room, I want you to take them and put them in your garage and line them up against the wall. Because buyers will forgive boxes in a garage neatly stacked. They won't forgive those boxes covering up the beautiful windows in your bedroom that make it look dark. That would have been a perfect thing to say to that person. Yeah, good. Images of the house online. What features of the home will you want emphasized on those online photos and videos? So let's think about this log home that you were talking about. What would you do to make that one stand out?
Lots of pictures. Probably a 3D tour. It's a $400,000 home. If you look at the comps, it doesn't show it, so you would just have to really highlight all the special features, and you should do that in text as well as in videos.
How many acres is it on?
6, well, 5 plus.
So it has acreage, any water features?
Creek.
Oh, it has a creek, it's a long home.
It's
It's got a stone fireplace, surely.
they got an outside
Kitchen area?
bonfire,
Oh,
and it's granite, gold flake granite countertop, top of the line.
So how are we gonna put that one online?
I thought about looking at the luxury homes, actually. I thought about marketing it as a luxury home.
Can't do that unless you're a part of a luxury home
Oh, well,
division. But if you were the person who was getting that listing, what feature would you tell your photographer, I wanna make sure you capture this? What feature is gonna sell that house?
the inside, I think.
So one of the things you might say to the seller is, Isaac, tell me what it is about this house that made you build it, and what is it you love? What is it you want people to know about this house? Who knows the house better than the seller?
Nobody.
Nobody. What made you fall in love with this property?
They told me the second they opened the door and walked in,
So what did it look like when you walked in? What captured your eye?
just all the wood on the sides. Just
Was it a view straight out? Was it a stone
you were
fireplace?
actually looking at a stairway when you walked in, but off to the left there was just all the wood.
So the warm tones.
Yeah.
So you would want to capture that. You want to tell your photographer that. Make sure you get those pictures.
But would a photographer? I was wondering about that. If I send a photographer out to someplace, which I think is probably a great idea in most cases, especially a high-end home, and I don't know why I keep segregating that, because I don't want to pay a photographer to go out and sell a $100,000 house, right?
Well, you want crappy pictures of it?
Yes. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
But one of the things too that the seller told me was they were going to do the service that the drone footage going down the driveway and videos and all that stuff, right? Which I think is cool and it should be done. But I was thinking that the photographer would have the experience, and that's kind of their specialty, right? I don't want to tell them. I certainly want to relay to them the important information that the seller relayed to me to make sure that when the seller listens to the listing, which they absolutely will do, they go, this is exactly what I wanted to market about my
Okay,
house.
I want you all to close your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes. Don't open them. When you saw me this morning and you walked into the room, what feature of mine stood out to you?
Your glasses. And the way it matches your fingernail polish.
Who else saw something different?
So your name badge.
Okay. Julia, what'd you see?
That you're unique, like to accessorize.
Ryan, what'd you see?
So you had a really big smile.
Paul, what'd you see?
Bright green top.
Isaac, what'd you see?
The color of your eyes and your hair.
Okay. Open your eyes. So, don't you think that everybody sees something different when they walk into a house? So, my photographer happens to be my daughter. She has a great photographer's eye, but she's not a real estate agent. And so what she loves is nature. She loves to shoot trees and the birds and the bees, and she likes to capture you when you're not looking. She likes those moments. But when I take her to a house, I want her to focus in on what I know is the feature of this home. So you have to ask your seller, what feature do you love and that you think we should emphasize about the home? What did I just make the seller do?
So what they like about their house.
I made it about who?
Them.
What? Tell me what you love. In fact, I would love it if you would write a note so I can put it in my little brochure, that one little brochure I'm going to leave in your house. Tell people what you love about this house.
So nice.
Yeah, it's a different perspective, and they get to tell their story because, especially in that custom home where they have all this stuff, where they've done a lot of updates, they want to tell that story, and somebody's is going to tug at somebody's heartstrings, right? Somebody, oh, I didn't know it had 2 geothermal things here. Maybe I'm one of those people that is interested in that. But if they can tell that story and you can help focus, it will help sell your house. Maybe your seller needs to write you a story.
Just wrote it down.
You never know what's going to work, and it won't work all the time, but you can keep trying different pieces. Buyer profile. So think about that house that you saw, Brian. Perfect house, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Who's the buyer for that house? Who do you see living in that house?
Probably first time owners that need just kind of a starting block.
Starting home.
No kids.
No kids? Yeah. People ask me that all the time when I go on listing appointments. Who do you see is buying my house? And I say this a lot. I don't see anyone in this area buying your house. I see this as being someone from outside the area. Or I see this home as an empty nester moving in. And then it kind of clicks. And they're like, yeah, that's kind of what I saw. Or they're like, no, maybe I really thought this was going to appeal more to this. And I'll say, well, why did you think that? And they start talking about the neighborhood. Maybe they know something that I don't know and it's not accessible to me. So ask that question of them. Who do you see living in your house? If I were to sell your house today, who do you see living? It's a great conversation, isn't it? All right, let's move on. Everybody doing all right? You need a break? All right, well, let's stop right here. This is a good breaking point. So why don't you take 5 minutes? No? You have? Jeff Wingate, you said you were doing one every weekend. So have you taken the open house class here that I think Bob Merritt teaches the open house? Or has,
He's great, yeah.
yeah, so what did you learn? Since you haven't held one, what did you learn about holding an effective open house?
I guess he says he always puts a sign on the front door, hey, come in and see me with, basically puts the expectation that you're going to sign in so you can go ahead and capture all that information. Walk in the neighborhood and passing out flyers and saying, hey, I don't know if you want a really good neighbor, but you might know friends or families that you might want to live next to you. He says he gets a lot of good contact information that way of potential people.
And did he talk about buyers loving open houses?
I don't recall. That was I probably did this 3 months ago.
So buyers do love open houses. Do you know why?
Oh yeah, they get to see the house.
In a pretty safe environment, right? And kind of unpressured. Let's watch this and then tell me your ahas from this.
Hi, I'm Chris Suarez, and I'm here to tell you the 5 steps to holding an effective open house. Step 1, strategically select the home you want to hold open. Choose a home that gives you the greatest potential to have buyers and sellers find you. This might be a home that is in a great traffic pattern, whether that be car traffic or people walking by in walkable neighborhoods in your community. Select a home around a local event where neighbors or even out-of-town people might be stopping in. Step 2 of holding an effective open house is advertising and marketing. Marketing begins a week in advance of any open house you might hold open. Begin by posting internet ads a week before. Get a sign in the yard and let neighbors and passerbys know that the home will be open later in the week. Remember to contact both by phone and email any internet leads or phone calls you've received on that listing prior to the open house. Don't forget to make 50 calls around the home prior to the open house and door knock, a radius of about 2 or 3 blocks. Step 3, know your scripts. Know what you're going to say to greet the visitor. Know what questions you're going to ask while they're in the home. One of the greatest first lines you could use is, thanks for stopping in to tour my open house. Are you one of the neighbors, or are you out shopping for a home today? Immediately you'll know if you're dealing with a potential buyer or a potential seller. Step 4 is keep the right mindset and prepare. Remember, open houses are lead generation activities, so enter with the mindset of a top lead generator.
We're truly having difficulties today, aren't we? Is this what you've been experiencing at home too with these?
I just can't find the stupid things.
Yeah, you have to go to the university and do a search, and I can't find them all either.
Could potentially show should the opportunity arise. And step 5, always follow up with every lead that comes through that door. Call them, email them, write thank you notes that same day. A simple follow-up script to use directly after an open house goes like this. Thanks for stopping into my open house this morning. It was great to meet you. I did a little bit of digging in the office after we met and after the open house and found 3 other properties that I think really fit your search criteria. I know the home that we saw this morning wasn't quite perfect, but these 3 have some real potential. We could get into them tomorrow at 4 or at 6, which would work better for you. Great, let's meet at my office and we can go from there. My biggest aha when doing open houses is remembering open houses are not a technique to keep current sellers happy. In reality, open houses are great lead generation tools to connect with potential future buyers and sellers. By using effective scripts and systems leading up to the open house and great follow-up techniques after the open house, you'll build a database of future buyers and sellers. Thanks for watching KW Connect and make it a great day.
So, what are some ahas from that? What'd you learn?
So just lead generation. One thing Bob was talking about is that he always has other houses that are available in the immediate area. So if they see that and he's asking questions like, this isn't perfect for me. He's like, well, look at these other 3 to 5. And he's like, I'm available right after this if you want to go take, a quick look at it. And he'd set that up and already kind of have them on the hook, I guess.
I think speed is what you have to follow up. Time is of the essence.
That's true. Anything else?
Script.
How'd you like his script after the open house?
Great.
It's pretty simple, wasn't it? And back to your point about Bob saying, there's 3 other houses or 4 other, and I think you said you had a list of houses that are there. Always keep yourself open after an open house. Keep your schedule light because you never know when that buyer is going to want to see another house. Or a seller might say, hey, I like the way you're marketing this house. Could you come and take a look at mine this afternoon?
Are you signed?
Huh?
Are you signed with the agent?
Yeah, well, you asked that question. You're not working with another realtor. But, yeah, keep yourself open and come over there. What about the door knocking?
I think that's fantastic.
Well, he talked about the door knocking. Anything else he talked about?
He said make sure you call 50 people.
Call 50 people. A minimum of 50 people, right? So that could be people that you know, inviting them to the open house, buyers and database. Could be other agents that you want to come out to that area and take a look. Okay, good. I want you to look at page 19. Somebody read that tip to me.
Think of an open house as a big event. Treat it as a massive marketing campaign. Unleash all your lead generation creativity.
No, at the bottom, the tip.
Okay.
You see the tip?
When it comes to Facebook, don't use your personal Facebook account for your real estate services. Why? It lacks professionalism. Establish a professional Facebook account for your real estate business.
So I use it both ways. I do put some of my houses on my personal, but I manage right now 6 Facebook pages. So I have one for each of the communities that I work in. So I can post the houses that I list out there because I farm those geographical areas and I want to have that. I own those. Or I want to own them. And then I also post all of my open houses on there, my tips on there, and it doesn't take that much time. Once you finally figure out how to do your Facebook page, this takes less than 6 to 10 minutes a day because if you're utilizing the tools that you have available in that database, you can post all of your listings from there directly onto Facebook with 2 clicks. Technology costs, folks. Yeah. Look at the use images when you post on Facebook. So what if it's not your house? Can you use a picture? You want to send it out to your sphere. I have a house listed. You want to send it out to your sphere. What can you do?
I don't know. I wanted to do that, but I didn't know if I could get my hands slapped for that.
What did you want to do?
Just, there was another house in Emerywood that was for sale. I called Will Anchors, and I didn't know if you could reshare what they put out there or what.
Did they share it on Facebook?
I don't know. I hadn't looked. I didn't get that far because I was like, I need to ask them. I'm sure she did.
So you could reshare it if they put it on Facebook. But if it's a Keller Williams agent, if I have a house listed, do I want you to sell my house?
Sure.
You darn right I do. So just call me and say, hey, Earla, do you mind if I post this on my social media? I think I have a buyer for it, or I might know someone. You know what I'm going to tell you? Do it. Yeah, absolutely. Bring me a buyer. I'd love to work with you. You have that availability through your database to do that as well for all of our listings. How many of you have Twitter accounts? So start tweeting.
So did you create like a separate account just for real estate on Twitter?
I just have one, but you know, sometimes I do personal stuff. Sometimes I just do whatever the social topic of the day is, and sometimes I just send out my listings or tips about, you know, it's time to clean up your yard, or here's a tip about mosquitoes for this time of year, or just something that you think people get a follower to look at. Instagram, how many of you are on Instagram? Pinterest? You need to get on all of those, because where's your favorite store, Jeff? Who do you like to shop?
Darn no.
Just pick a store.
Okay.
Food, groceries,
Harris Teeter.
Harris Teeter. Where do you like to shop? Clothing,
Amazon.
Amazon,
Build and Stream.
Build and Stream, Gander Mountain.
Julia's hair products.
Amazon.
And I love Steinhardt. So why do I use that as an example? Are we all at the same place?
No, regardless.
So do you think everybody likes Facebook? Think we all like Twitter? Somebody like Pinterest? So you have to be where the popular people are looking. And so again, it's not about you, it's about where do they want to shop. So be everywhere that they like to shop. And Pinterest, how many think that's a ladies only site? Come on, be honest, guys. Look at there. Thank you for being honest. But statistics show that the guys are picking up on the Pinterest. And my husband, I'll use him as an example, is retired for the second time. Lately, I've been coming home to some really good meals. And I'm like, where did you get that? He went, Pinterest. I said, what'd you say?
Say a little
He
louder.
said, Pinterest. So don't, you know, you just don't know who's on there looking and when it's going to capture their attention. So be everywhere that they're shopping. And they talk about Pinterest next, and then engage your social media for real estate. You can use contests and sweepstakes. I think I used the bridal show as an example. What bride doesn't need money, right? Or their parents, one of them are going to need some money. So we gave away 2 $500 gift cards. All you had to do was download my mobile app, and you were registered. So we gave one, and we also gave away a, $150 spa basket or something like that we got vendor support from. So we used our real estate in a different method, but we captured information from 240 people that we personally shook their hand that day and put into our database. Don't you think that's a creative way
That's awesome.
to market your business?
So you just had to go to the organizers of the event. And
Oh, you paid to go
get
to that
permission to
event.
do that, right?
Yeah. No, I don't have to ask permission to share my app. I just had to pay to play.
Right. So, but you had to pay to have a booth at the.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Look at page 21. Read some of those words that are jumping off in the middle of the page.
Fiduciary.
Okay? What else jumps out at you?
Exceptional marketing.
Relationship.
Timeout.
So what do those words mean to you?
What you are.
What do you mean, what you are?
Like, as an agent, what I am, I need to have a good relationship with my clients. I need to be business oriented. I need to have strong communication skills. I need to know how to market. I need to keep my fiduciary duties. Engage in proper activities.
Yeah, that's a great thing. So look at this communication checklist on page 22. Following preferences. Always ask and learn about your customer's preferred method. So we talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the day. How do most of your clients like to be communicated with?
Well,
Text? Text? Text?
it's text, but I have found verbal has been more effective.
Okay.
After texting, like tonight, I'll get people a text. I'm gonna call them later today on my break at the restaurant, and it has been more effective when I call after a text. So
But you started with the method they preferred.
Yeah.
And then it led to call me, right? So I absolutely agree with you. The follow-up, getting them on the phone or face-to-face is most effective. But you started off in the method that worked for them best, and they said, hey, call me. So most people do like to text today. How about your group?
Yeah, text.
Text. Yours is text. Any of you have children? How do they communicate?
Text.
If they're sitting across the room from you, they text you. Yeah. Okay, match the style. What does that mean?
Flexible.
Yeah, look at that. Match the style. In person or on the phone, always seek to match their communication style. What does that mean to you?
Meet them where they are. If they're in a bad mood, if they're in a great mood, if they're busy, if they're not, the tone of their voice communicates to you how you should speak to them.
So if they're angry, you don't want to be angry back,
I
right?
don't.
Okay.
But I want to use that anger to
So how would you do
move
that?
it into a different place. Depends on the person. If I know them, it's a
Give
lot
me an
easier.
example.
Well, when I call my seller and she's pissed because she's had no showings for the day, I know how to turn that around very quickly by communicating to her, well, here's what I did for you this morning, and here's the people I spoke to, and here's, within a few minutes,
So you
her
got
tone
very
has changed.
specific with
Yeah.
her. So if you pick up the phone or you meet someone and they say, hi, Ronnie, my name's, what's your name? How do you respond to it?
Exact same way. Just look at it, speech and
Yeah, I over-exaggerated that, but if you've got someone who likes to talk slow and low, you kind of mimic that and match that. If you got someone angry, you listen and you try to give them specifics and calm them down. If you've got somebody who just wants the information, they want you to give it to them and get off the phone, you got to be fast and quick. You're trying to match and communicate the style that they like. Look at the number 3 there, always update. What's that mean? I listed your house 2 weeks ago and I haven't heard from you since.
They shouldn't. Your client shouldn't wonder what's going on.
So how can you communicate to them?
How would they prefer it? And
How do you
regularly.
know?
You have to.
So one of the things that I do when I list a house, I say to them, I may not have any information to share with you every day or every week, but how often would you like me to communicate with you? Would you like weekly, daily, monthly, only when I have an offer? What works best for you and what method do you want me to do that in? And before you answer, let me tell you some things that you're going to get from me every day. Every day, through these reports, you're going to get a report from a listing book that tells you how many people looked at your house. Once a week, you're going to get one from MLS that tells you how many people looked at your house on MLS, and any feedback that we received, you get it immediately. You're also going to get a Zillow report and a Paradigm report and a Trilogy report from me every week. This is the same information that I utilize when I analyze your home. So in addition to that, what else would you like from me? And I stop. What do you think they say most of the time?
Well, that's fine, thank you.
Call me when you get an
Looking
offer.
forward to
So
Or if there's negative feedback, how will we handle it? Well, we'll address it right away.
I didn't know that they would get those things.
That's a service that we provide. It's free to all of us. So if you give the email and set up those reports, it automatically goes to your seller every day or once a week or once a month, or however often they're set up. And most of them don't want any more than that from me. They want me to call them if we've had a showing and there's no feedback. They want to know why, and that's because that realtor that we talked about earlier won't provide feedback, so I call and call and call, trying to get some answers for them. Okay, be prompt. Always respond as soon as possible or on the expected schedule. And that kind of goes back to them. How often do you want me to call you? Most people have jobs and they don't want to be bothered at work. So we need to find out when is the best time to talk to them and how often, and set that expectation. Never talk down to the customer. Keep a log. So where can you keep a log of your conversations?
Edge.
Yes. So if you got that database pulled up, there's a place there for notes. You can type in that note and you have a constant log. On my folders, and there is one thing that I brought to show you today, I am totally electronic, but I do keep a folder on each house. It has a couple of things in there. It has the, usually the CMA, some notes about their house, the drawing, and I also have a log sheet because I may be out when I'm on the phone. So I'll make a note here, and when I get back to the office, I hand it to Crystal and she enters my notes. So you could, if you're out traveling, you could also have some kind of a system like that as well. And it's just something we made up. Decision maker focus. What does that mean?
Make sure everyone's on board with the decision that's being made.
When you're having that conversation about reducing price, what the price should be, making an offer, you want all the people who need to make that decision together on that phone call or in person. And a great attitude. Always be enthusiastic and positive. How do you tell your seller in a positive manner that it's time to reduce the price?
I'm doing that right now. It's not easy.
Tell me what you're saying.
I just pulled up more comps, new houses that popped up, and showed them, again, here's what you're competing against. I told them I was in a training class where we talked about pricing a home, and I learned this and I learned that. And if you're going to sell this house, it's going to happen in this range more than likely. So we need to come down, or we need to put granite in here. We need to do this. These are the things people are telling me. So day 16, we're here. The market is communicating that we're too high. We got to move it. We need to leave it where it is.
How many showings have you had?
Probably 10,
In how long of a period?
16 days.
So that's a good showing. So I have one very similar. We've had 12 showings in 2 weeks, and every one of them said we're overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
So my conversation this afternoon will be, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we've now had 12 showings on your house, and we are in a seller's market. We should have had an offer on your home by now. But because we're a little bit overpriced, they're rejecting this house. So we need to drop the price $10,000. And I stopped. Well, that's again. And they're going to go, well, can't we do 5? Well, we could. We could do 5. But most buyers search in ranges. So it's a range of 150 to 160, 160 to 170. So dropping it $5,000 doesn't get us a new buyer. By dropping it 10, we're in a different search. So right now it's costing you about $600 a month to keep this house. That's what you told me that you were paying. Plus your insurance is going to lapse in a few months. So you could eat up $10,000 very quickly. So let's go ahead and drop it now while it's still a seller's market and get you a buyer.
Do you have that conversation 15 days or so? One of the ladies that was teaching in class said after 15 days, if it hasn't sold and you've had people viewing it, then
Well, it depends on the property, but typically yes. But if you read the booklets and it tells you after 12 showings and you've had no offers, you need to do it just. But we're in a seller's market right now. This house is in impeccable condition, but we're too high for the area. So we need to drop the price.
and if it hasn't sold or you haven't had offers, would you make re-suggestions for them to invest money in it on particular things?
If this one needed it,
If it
yes.
needed
It
it.
doesn't need it.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of getting the price right. Let's look at page 23. The truth. An excellent customer service experience will set you apart. Always under-promise and over-deliver. So I want you to think about a time when you received exceptional service. What did that look like? What was it?
I went to, so I had foot problems. My feet were hurting, so I went to shoe market, get shoes. And the younger son was there, and I didn't know he was the younger son, but they all do this. It's all full service, and he gave me a great service. And I was there for like 2 hours, and I found the right shoe. But he made sure he gave that full service. He took off my shoes, put on the shoes, and then he looked at my shoes, put up installs, which encouraged me to work for Redwood.
And they measured your feet, right?
Yeah, he measured my both feet, made you walk around.
Try
Looked
on
at
the
bottom,
shoe, walk around.
Yeah. He looked at the shoes I was wearing, put out the footbeds to see how I'm walking. I was really touched. I was like, wow, I didn't realize this much work goes into buying shoes. He goes, well, if you want to get the right shoe, you got to do it. It made a huge impression on me as customer service to a product, whatever that product was.
So how could you take that same experience and utilize it in real estate for you?
Being prepared and knowing your resources, so when you go talk to your clients or showing homes, you can do comps around the area before you show them the homes. You say, you know, I can tell you what I just did. I did already with the comps.
Yeah. So if you think about that, over-promising or under-delivering, what's that look like? Over-promising and under-delivering.
Right. I'll call you tonight.
Say you're gonna do those 14 things and only doing 10.
Returning phone calls is a big one. We've had several conversations already about that today. So one of the things that I say to every one of my sellers, if you leave me a message, if I don't answer my phone, I am with another client. But I will call you back before I lay my head down on the pillow at night. That is my promise to you. And if you read some of my reviews, they will tell you that they felt like I was always accessible. I'll text them, I'm with a client, I'll call you right back. I'll call you before I go back to bed. I am 2 hours away from a computer. When I get back, I'll run those numbers for you, whatever that needs to be. And make them feel like they're your only client, irregardless of what's going on in your day.
Hotspot. I love it. You can do hotspot anywhere with the computer.
You can, but if you're with a client, you don't want to be working on a
Understood.
hotspot with another
Understood.
client
Right,
because you want them to feel like.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need big screens for old eyes to look up things. So, okay. Let's go back to this. Be solution oriented. Call your problem resolution skills. Oh, no, I skipped a page. Super service, look at that, page 25. Communication tips. Super service, what does that mean? What's that first line say?
Be honest and reliable.
Sincerity, be honest and reliable. What's the next one?
Understanding, focus on their needs, wants, and values.
Next.
Predictability, deliver what is promised and expected.
How about number 4?
Exceptionality.
That work?
Exceptionality.
Exceptionality provides the extraordinary and uncommon.
Responsiveness, report quickly and reliably.
And that forges relationships with customers. You get repeat business. And all of you can think about that bad service, right? You can think of an experience you've had that's bad. Can you always think of one that's good that you want to mimic? I thought that was a great story, by the way. And I've also had that experience with that place. It's the only place I buy shoes now. And I don't care what the price is because they fit my feet. Yeah. So that's a great one to use. Think about that bad experience and how you don't ever want to be that person. It might be this fear when I first got into real estate was I was going to be one of those idiot agents that opened their mouth on a camera and stuck their feet both in it and looked really stupid. You know what I mean? Practice your scripts and deliver that service. All right, let's see. It's your turn. You're going to break into groups and you're going to prepare a listing presentation. And this is going to take you to almost the end of the class. So actually 15 minutes, prepare your listing presentation. So why don't the three of you work together and the three of you work together? And because we have just so limited people in the class, why don't one of you be the presenter and the other two kind of help along and critique along the way, and then let's get back together and talk about the ahas that you learned. So in your groups, decide who's going to present.
I want to be a buyer.
Yeah.
I mean a seller. I'm a seller. I want to list my present if you want.
Okay, so you're in presentation?
I'm just because I don't know. She's talking to her right now. I'm looking at her.
Is there a form or something that we're using to?
In your database, go into your market leader and you can use that listing presentation that's in there. You can take the pieces that I gave you if you want to, those 4 pieces or 5 pieces, you can utilize that and add and write things to it. Did you get a packet? I also gave you some things in there today, but just as an FYI checklist that I use to make sure things are correct when I'm closing, things to follow up on when I'm listing a house. So I know if I've done Facebook, I know if I've done other things. I gave you a contact sheet that you could have and utilize. Pieces that might help you service your client better.
So what is our task here?
You're putting together a listing presentation. You guys decide, yeah. If you have a house that you're getting ready to list, anybody? No.
Sorry for that. That's one way to keep it.
Okay. Go under my contacts. It's in there. Your contacts. Let it all load first. That's what's wrong. It's not loading everything. See where it says create marketing? And go into marketing center. And then you can just go over there and look at that.
I did one of these yesterday.
Alright.
No, I mean, it should show.
There should be a search button
Yeah.
right there. Search for
I realized it's
listing
about 20 seconds.
presentation.
Did you need this right here?
Yeah, I did that. I actually have the thing, I'll pull it up.
There they are. Just scroll down through there.
Okay.
And you'll find one. It really may be easier though if you just utilize some of those pieces that I gave you for this class, since that's 37 pages. So use the preparing your home for sale. What was your cover sheet? What will it look like when you walked in and introduced yourself? You don't know this person. You're just going there for the first time. what would your presentation packet look like?
Oh, so we're just really kind of going over the
Yes.
hot topics we need to
Yes.
know, not actually putting together.
Yes.
Okay.
Your homework will be to
That's a big thing.
do one.
I started working on this.
You can,
Did you?
yeah.
You said that we share our app,
Yes.
the person we share with automatically goes into our database?
Yes.
How does that work? Because I've shared mine and they're not
Once
automatically.
they have to use it, they have to register.
Oh, okay.
They have to open it up and register.
Gotcha.
But I think this is good back to the problem.
Yeah.
It goes for a stage two.
Yeah, go to great market.
Okay, what is this space?
It basically is a living demonstration, what do you expect from this process? All at once.
Okay, so is this talking about how our relationship with them? Oh, I think that's
That work. Go back.
It is important.
I think it's printing, right?
these guys are difficult people. Skill 1 to 10.
It was like,
They used to write
to me,
and then I went down to college. I need to get this.
Do an
So
email.
once they just started talking, and I started listening.
So my thing is important because I'm just on this one.